Today we've had great fun testing out the new GriGri Plus. So now there are 3 amazing Petzl belay devices. 2 of them we've already reviewed, you've tried before, and we'll tell you all about this one today. So for absolutely years, Petzl have been making the GriGri, we know all about that. Recently they brought out the Neox, which is amazing for lead climbing. If you haven't watched our video, go and watch that as well. And today we've got the GriGri Plus. So hello, I'm James from Outside in the Peak District. You normally recognise me climbing outside. I don't really like coming indoors, but it's pretty grim, pretty cold, so we've come down to the amazing foundry in Sheffield, and they've been kind enough to let us film this video here. So the first thing you might ask is, why have Petzl made 3 belay devices that look incredibly similar? So let's break it down quite simply. They have the Neox. Neox is definitely the best lead belay device I've used. It pays out slack really easily, it's really slick, and it's absolutely brilliant for that. The GriGri is the classical rounder that lots of people have used for years, and they really like that for working their projects, a bit of top roping, general sport climbing, and all that type of thing. They can't get rid of that because everyone knows it and loves it. However, using either of those devices, if you've not really climbed much before, and you're mainly into top roping, things like that, that's where the GriGri Plus comes in. So don't get me wrong, GriGri Plus is not a new term or belay device. For Petzl, it's a big upgrade. They used to make one, but I'll be honest, it wasn't that popular. We didn't do that well with it because the differences it did between its 2 different functions were really hard to explain, and it confused a lot of people, even some of our staff. I think this is a massive, massive improvement. So like I've just said, this is predominantly aimed at top rope climbing. However, this does absolutely everything a normal GriGri does, plus the amazing top rope mode, which I'll show you in a minute. So if you're not already familiar with a GriGri, it's mainly designed for sport climbing and things like that because it gives a lot of assistance when the climber falls off in actually holding the rope. They never say let go of the rope, but it does give you a lot of assistance when catching someone. And that's predominantly used while sport climbing and indoor climbing because falling is frequent and you just want to be really on it and make sure you've caught your climber. So what happens when the climber falls off, this cam gets pulled up and squeezes the rope down here so the rope cannot feed through the device. So essentially when it's up like that, it's in assist mode. That happens in a normal GriGri and sort of with the Neox as well. So the whole point of the new Petzl GriGri Plus is the fact that you can keep it in that locked mode at all times with a clever little switch. Now you may ask, why would I want to do this? Well, if you're top roping, all you're ever really doing is pulling in slack. You're just pulling in slack because the climber's going up, and that's it. You're not feeding any out, you don't need to take any back and forth, you're just pulling it out. So that means it's in assist mode all the time. Now that is hugely reassuring. So if you're giving this to a belayer who's never really belayed before or is not that confident on that sort of terrain, give them one of these, you can feel much more reassured that they're going to hold you. In fact, they're going to have to try really, really hard to drop you. Obviously, anything's possible. This is not a safety video. Check out all Petzl's sort of safety features. We're just showing you how this thing works. But of course, it's really cool that if you decide you're going lead climbing for the day, you don't want the top rope function, just flick the switch and back you go into normal lead climbing mode. Now I must admit, I find these days, even when I'm either head pointing a route or just top roping it for fun or sport climbing or something, I will end up doing quite a lot of top roping. It is not just a beginner thing going top roping. And so you'll see friends being too casual with a GriGri. Petzl have always said, never let go of the rope, okay? But you'll see people do it all the time. And they shouldn't be. Well, there's a real chance you might drop someone, and that's of course incredibly dangerous. Within top rope or assist mode, you just know it's going to be much more secure, and Petzl have even put for the first time ever in their instructions that you may only be a little bit of danger if you let go of the rope. Not clear death, just a little bit of danger. Still don't do it, hey? Let's play it safe. And using it today has been brilliant. While using it in normal GriGri mode, it's felt just like everything I've known for years and worked absolutely perfectly. And then easily flipping into top rope mode, it was great. It feeds really nicely. I've actually used a really big, fat, furry rope, which Petzl give a bit of a warning, say it might be a bit trickier to do with it, but actually it smoothly came through the device and absolutely no trouble at all. Then of course, when lowering the climber, you can use the normal handles just to lower them down. I think the only thing to bear in mind while using this is once you've lowered the climber to the floor, and obviously they're making no weight anymore, and you're still in the assist mode, it suddenly feels like you can't let that last bit out. So either just pretend you're belaying on lead mode and put your thumb on the top and let a bit out with your finger carefully there, or just take a couple of steps forward and there's enough slack to release the whole system. The other thing the GriGri Plus has over the GriGri is it's got a panic mode function on the descender handle. So there have been some incidents with the normal GriGri in the past where people don't know what they're doing or they panic and they're lowering someone with the handle and they pull it too hard and suddenly the climber falls too quickly, and that could be quite dangerous. Obviously it's quite rare, doesn't really happen, people know what they're doing, that's just an error. But if you have the GriGri Plus, it's actually really hard to do that because there's a panic function. So what that means is when you're pulling the handle back, you've really got to keep it in a sweet spot and basically be paying a lot of attention to make the climber descend. If you suddenly get distracted, do something silly, fall over, panic, and pull it too hard, it will basically lock up again. Now that's great for multiple reasons. Imagine you're doing that and you suddenly got knocked out and you held it open, something like that. This way, none of that can happen. This feature was on the old GriGri Plus. However, that did have the ability to override it. If you put them into panic mode and it locked, you can actually pull a little bit further again and then lower the climber. And some people found that a bit confusing because, you know, if you'd panicked, you may well go into that extra panic mode and then lower the climber again. That's not what we're after. So this is a good feature. And then the other thing that I think is really good about this device is, like we've already mentioned, this is really key for people first getting into it, first time using a device like this. All the diagrams and the descriptions on the device are much clearer than before, so you can't thread it the wrong way, climber, hand, all pretty obvious. And of course, they've got the little description there, do not let go of the rope. Even though they're saying you might not die if you're in top rope mode, they're still suggesting don't do it. In their diagrams, they do show that if you ever have to let go to undo a tangle, anything like that, make sure you put a safety knot below the device, so if it did slide for any reason, it'll get jammed up in the device. Again, nice clear instructions on here of the size of the rope you should be using. They reckon the sweet spot is basically most single ropes between 8.9 and 10.5. We've been lead climbing on a 9mm today. Obviously slick as anything, really nice. But actually when we were top roping, we were into the 11mm and big, fat and fluffy, and I thought it would be awful, but actually it worked fine. They're saying be aware, if it's thicker than 10.5, it might be a bit harder. If it's thinner than 8.9, it might be a bit slick, so pay attention and hold on extra tight. So I think for a lot of reasons, this would supersede the normal GriGri. I can't really see a downside. If you don't like the panic function, maybe not that, but the top rope mode is brilliant. Otherwise, it works exactly the same as a normal GriGri, so absolutely brilliant. Don't think it costs much more. Why not go for it? If you want the slickest lead device ever, paying out rope really quickly, I do suggest you check out the Neox. But for me, this really completes the trio. What a good upgrade. I can imagine using this a lot, as somebody top ropes quite a lot these days. So I think Petzl have absolutely nailed what they wanted to do with the GriGri Plus. It's ticked all the boxes. And if you like this video and you want to see more videos like it, maybe subscribe to our YouTube channel or come into the shop in Hathersage or check it out online at Outside.co.uk.